This is what we talk about when we talk about the European Film Awards. Hi, welcome to this bit of a behind the scenes episode of the show, like a vlog, travel, diary, Michael Palin-esque adventure.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
So I'm Sam.
I'm Jake.
And this is our holiday snaps, a little behind the scenes video of what happened when me and Jake went to Wroclaw in Poland to go to the 29th European Film Awards.
Yeah, we were very kindly sent there by Curzon Home Cinema, who wanted us to cover the awards on their social media accounts and make a podcast episode about the awards and get some red carpet photos, that kind of thing. That's what we were there for.
Yeah, so we thought, rather than just do that, why don't we film ourselves doing it and just let you know how it went, what kind of things we got up to, because Wroclaw, I think, is quite an unfilmed part of the world, especially part of Poland. We had never really heard of it before we went. We didn't really know.
It was not the kind of place you ever think, oh yeah, let's definitely go there.
We didn't know loads of people that had been there, so we thought a great way to document that for our first time being there, to show you guys. And
in terms of the press side of things, it's not often the kind of thing that you actually get a look in. So you'll see stuff here like the red carpet, the press area, Q&As, that kind of thing that you might not otherwise see, and just how these events kind of work as well.
Right, let's kick it off.
So it all started with both of us getting up at around 4:30 in the morning.
Horribly early.
Yeah.
Really horribly early.
I think Sam had just gone to see a football match the night before, so getting a nice early night.
I had about 3 hours sleep.
Yeah. Sam was in London, I was outside of the city, so we both attempted to get to the airport at the same time.
I arrived an hour and a half before Jake. Jake hit some traffic.
Yeah. So I didn't have to wait in an airport for an hour and a half. So we're in the airport now on our Ryanair flight to a place that we don't actually fully know how to pronounce.
Wroclaw.
Or Wroclaw. Or Wroclaw. I've picked up Sam along the way.
Hi. Morning. It's really early.
Sam's now going for his Jackie Brown / The Graduate moment. We got on the flight just as the sun was coming up, really, and it was about 2 hours over there. I had just done my monthly film quiz the night before, and so Sam had some light reading and quizzing on the plane.
That did make it go a lot quicker, and I absolutely smashed the quiz.
It's true, he did. Yeah, he only got this job that he currently has because he won the quiz.
That's true. That's how I should get all jobs.
Then we eventually touched down and got some kind of like an odd introduction to Wroclaw, because the outside of the city and the centre of the city
very different places. We got a taxi into town. It took about half an hour, and it was kind of what you expect from a small Polish area.
Very Eastern European, Russian influence on the buildings, lots of apartments, all kind of spread around, not much continuity to it as well. And this is what we felt like all the way on the cab drive to our house. We never really got a sense of what the actual centre of the city was going to be like.
So we got there, we got to our apartment, which was very nice, really nice Airbnb.
views are lit.
The views are lit.
The views are lit. You heard it here first. Hey. Fake Jaffa cakes. These things. Sugar. Tea. No milk. What's up with that? The middle of the city, as we said, is completely different. It's medieval. It began being built in the 1200s, and so there are some phenomenally old structures here. It's a bit like Bruges in the style of the market square, right in the middle of it.
Like no two buildings are the same colour. It's very strange. It's really multicoloured, really bright, really quite garish in parts as well, but that's part of its charm. Especially around the Christmas market, there's so many different colours layering at you. Really, but it was really nice, really interesting, very different from where we live. And so it's nice to have that on the first night, on the first day, to just be really thrown in the deep end of this different sensory experience.
Yeah, and that first night we just kind of got our bearings. We knew that the event that we were going to be covering was at the National Forum of Music, so we just had a quick walk there so we knew exactly where we need to go. Okay, so we've taken a walk into the city to have a look at where we're going to be on Saturday night for the awards, and here is the National Forum of Music. It's like a fancy brick.
Yeah. And inside that tent you can't see it, but we could just about see rolls of red carpet. Getting ready early.
For you and me, that's what the red carpet is
for us, yeah.
Got something to eat. I've got a Thuringian sausage.
And I've got a slab of meat.
Hardly recommend them both. And polish that off with a hot chocolate from a boot.
Hot chocolate from a boot.
Yeah.
Tiny China boot.
Yes, the Christmas market served all of their drinks in boots, which is not something you'd normally expect. But I think I'm a convert, you know. I've come home.
There's ruined so many shoes since we've come back.
Yeah, it's awful, but it's that leatheriness. Just really adds an extra layer to the hot chocolate. This is our first meal since getting to Wroclaw. I have got a Thuringian sausage, and Sam has meat. And the next day we had the first press conference for the weekend.
Yeah, and little did we know we were sitting about 2 people away from European Master Director of Wim Wenders.
Yeah, this was a bit of a surreal experience, and we had to quickly find a seat and went for the front row, and I had the camera out and Sam's just there next to me. I just got a little nudge, just go, it's Wim Wenders. And there's this man who looks definitely David Lynch-like.
Yeah, it did look like a David Lynch character and also David Lynch himself.
Yeah.
This very strange black suit where the trousers went up very high, and the jacket was kind of a suit jacket come hoodie.
Yeah, the suit jacket hoodie is...
I've never seen that before, but I definitely want to see it again and own it.
Yeah, that's going to be the talk of the Oscars red carpet.
Suit jacket hoodies.
Yeah, everyone's going to be wearing them. After the press conference, we transcribed the recording, put out some tweets and some photos from the press conference, and then we went back into the city to try and check out this 400-foot by 50-foot circular panoramic painting. And then we got there, and then we realised we couldn't get in, but we did find a dog. Hello, mate. Hello. And from that we went to the New Horizons Cinema.
You've probably seen them online, these like Polish versions of different film posters. And they've got a lot of these posters in there, and they're very, very cool. There's a very cool Blade Runner one, a very cool Shining one.
The Taxi Driver one was really cool.
A bizarre Omen one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, some of these posters didn't look like the designer had even seen the film, let alone knew what it was about, but that's part of their charm. So naturally after that we went back to the Christmas market, had some Glühwein,
found the real Polar Express.
We did find the actual Polar Express, we heard the sleigh bells ring, it did make a sound.
Yeah. And we also found some very creepy fairy tale marionettes.
I don't know what the word
automatons.
Kind of like dioramas, very creepy.
Yeah.
So then day 3 we went to a talk given by Ken Loach about his opinions towards the Brexit vote, which was very interesting. So you can imagine what kind of views Ken Loach would have of Brexit, and he did not disappoint. He was full Ken Loach.
Yep, and that's what you want from Loach.
Because the great value of European film is its diversity and hearing the different languages.
And then after that we had 2 big interviews on our hands. One with the director of Room, Lenny Abramson, who also directed Frank, and then with I, Daniel Blake writer Paul Laverty. And they're both there for the film awards, so Lenny Abramson's film Room was nominated for Best Film, and Paul Laverty was personally nominated for Best European Screenwriter for I, Daniel Blake.
Yeah, and these were strange interview experiences because we're used to, when we do interviews for our podcast, normally it's a one-on-one.
Yeah, these were round table, and it was like the Hunger Games for film journalists. It was a real battle to get your question out there. I mean, everyone's recording everyone. It doesn't really matter whose questions are asked, but there was a weird sense of competition.
Definitely.
I think we came off okay.
Yeah, we got some good stuff in there.
Okay.
If you want to listen to Paul Laverty, actually, that is on our podcast, and you can listen to that very episode, the European Film Awards episode, if you check out the description below, and that's with Paul Laverty, the writer of I, Daniel Blake, so do check that out if you fancy it.
And then that evening it was the award ceremony themselves. So first of all, a quick costume change on both our parts. We suited and booted, and then put on our parkas. A parka and a suit looks really well together, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And then we walked into town to the red carpet, which I think was both our first time as press on a red carpet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, obviously we're always on the red carpet.
We actually have walked on a red carpet before for High Rise.
Oh yeah, and for Room.
Yeah, so it wasn't our first time on a red carpet.
No.
We are, veterans of the red carpet by now.
Yeah.
It was our first time behind the barrier.
Yeah.
We got a pretty good spot.
Yeah. How the other half live, eh?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the red carpet from where we were standing was a bit odd because most of the people in the press were not English press. And so there were quite a number of times on the red carpet where people turned up and there was a buzz in the room and we had no idea why. Yeah. But then it kicked off, and we had people like Ken Loach,
Dave Johns, Daniel Blake himself, Paul Laverty, Lenny Abramson and his wife, and then we actually grabbed an interview with Nicholas Martin, the writer of Florence Foster Jenkins, who was there on Hugh Grant's behalf because Hugh Grant was nominated for Best Actor. And then we had the big guns. We had Pedro Almodovar himself in the flesh. That was a strange encounter, about a metre away from us. It was very cool. And also Pierce Brosnan.
Yes, Pierce Brosnan was not someone I was expecting to see at the weekend, and so up close as well.
Yeah.
He's a refined gentleman.
He is. I think he's still play Bond to this day.
Yeah.
I don't. So then, after the red carpet, we were swept away to the press and media centre. Yeah, the tweeting was tiresome.
Yeah.
We eventually had a system where we'd copy and paste certain things onto different screens, which made it go a lot smoother rather than just frantically typing things out as they were going on.
Yeah, but we got there in the end. It was something like 4 hours in total that we were sat in these 2 chairs with
not very comfortable chairs either.
Yeah, but the awards came and went. I'm sure if you search online, you'll be able to get a roundup of those. We were pretty pleased with the results, particularly for Tony Erdmann, which will come out in UK cinemas in February. But that was the big winner. That was Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Screenplay. It really it took the lot, and I was happy for that. I think we both wanted to see some recognition for Elle, Paul Verhoeven's film, again, which will be in UK screens next year, because that is really something different, something special.
So once the awards were over, we had a quick Q&A with some of the winners.
And then came the after party. We didn't want to take the camera, but
we've seen things no camera should capture.
We've seen things you wouldn't believe.
And now all those memories lost in time like tears in rain.
Yeah. But let me tell you, Ken Loach, he loves a Jaeger bomb, doesn't he?
So the next morning it was straight back to work. We recorded our podcast, wrote the blog,
transcribed
some interviews, just did loads of work. That took several hours, but it was nice to get it all done and dusted. Round up what had happened so far, and then once that happened, we were free to let loose on the town of Wroclaw.
And see Tottenham lose.
Once again.
So we did that really English thing. We're awful people. We went to a sports bar to watch football. Sorry, Europe.
So then we came to our last day in Poland. We once again did a little bit of work in that morning, and then we went and had a very nice wrap at a place called Yummy
Wraps.
We had the best ice cream we've ever had.
That's a big statement, but it's true. Yeah, phenomenal.
Chocolate, mascarpone and cookie crunch.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So good. I think the most important thing is the dwarfs.
Oh yeah, let's do the dwarfs.
So, before we came to Wroclaw, we checked it out on TripAdvisor, and the second highest ranking thing to do in the whole city was just called the Wroclaw Dwarfs.
So they're these tiny little bronze dwarfs dotted around the city. You could very easily miss them, but not us pros or us adventurous travellers.
Hunters.
We were running around with a giant net looking for the Wroclaw dwarves, and they were postman dwarves. Some were getting cash out, some were drunk, some were taking photos of an even smaller dwarf, which was incredibly meta.
I was just such an experience, you know.
I mean, I can see why it's the second best thing to do in the entire city.
Yeah, it did get a bit compulsive, and it was like real life Where's Wally at some points. But
yeah, I felt like the best dwarves were the ones you weren't looking for.
Yeah, surprise dwarves.
Oh my god, it's a dwarf.
Yeah. Well, that was it. We got our last picture with the dwarf, hopped in a cab, back to the airport, and a cup of tea.
Wild.
Yeah. So there we are. That's Wroclaw. Thanks a lot for sending us Curzon Home Cinema. It was much appreciated.
Yeah, as you can see. And thank you very much for watching. Do keep up with the regular show every Friday.
Yep, and if you haven't checked it out already, then remember in the description below you can find the link to my blog post about the trip, the podcast roundup as well, and when it goes live we'll put the link in for the interview with Lenny Abramson as well, so do check that out when it all goes live.
Yeah, and as always, tweet us, like us, subscribe,
Follow. Just follow us. Follow us down the street.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.